Welcome to another great episode. We have another great guest for you. We have Chase Martin on the show with us. Chase, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in the industry, and who do you serve? Who's your clientele? What does that look like?
So I have been in since March of this year.
Okay.
Got in on a very interesting time,
Yes.
post-COVID. I serve those who need homes, really. I don't really market myself or try to get every single sale, quite honestly. It may be a fault of mine, but I'm really just looking to help as many people as possible, and that's how I measure my success.
Makes sense. So, I mean, like you said, it's a crazy time to get in, wild time, and it's pretty tough for buyers and things to find homes. What made you want to jump in now, and where were you coming from?
So I have actually always wanted to be a realtor. Myself and or I shouldn't say myself, my family and actually even my in-laws are all part of real estate for as long as I can remember. And I knew that I wanted to be a realtor from 6th grade. They had a little graduation ceremony. Everyone wanted to be a video game developer. I want to be a real estate agent.
Wow, dude, you're seriously the first person I've ever heard, like in my entire time in the industry, that grew up around that and just wanted to be that. So cool, man. So your dad and mom all as well, or?
So not my mom and dad, but my grandparents.
Okay.
They actually even started Golden Valley Realty up in Kingman, Arizona.
Okay, yeah.
It unfortunately went defunct when my grandfather passed away, and my grandmother sold the business. But she still remains very involved. I believe she's also on the zoning commission now for Kingman, Arizona.
Okay, all right, okay. So it's in the blood.
It's in the blood.
Okay. What did you do prior to this?
So I like to say that this is the best job I've ever had, and I have worked in government, military, for-profit, and nonprofit.
Okay.
And prior to even bringing in a paycheck, I could still say this is the best work I've ever done. I am immediately coming over from working for Oscar Health.
Okay.
It's a new health tech startup, and it was very draining, quite honestly. It was one of those jobs where I'm not going to be here for as long as I would like to.
Makes sense.
Because it's a startup. It was ramping to its IPO, and when it finally hit that, I just knew that my place wasn't there.
Makes sense, okay. So is that kind of your forte beforehand, tech and that kind of a thing, or?
I'd never really had a forte.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that tech is something that's always been something that interests me, tech enthusiast kind of thing, but no, I've bounced around everything in my career.
I like that. So I always like to, especially with newer agents, is kind of give them an idea of, have you thought about how you can incorporate that into your business model? Have you thought, what does that look like for you? Have you kind of brainstormed on how you can incorporate your tech and real estate together?
Oh, absolutely. I'm currently piloting a program that I'm sure you've heard of Gary Vaynerchuk, one that he has for building your Instagram base. It is actually proving to be pretty well for our business. I immediately, upon joining my team, the Medrano Group, led by Elazar Medrano of the Chandler HomeSmart branch, upon doing that, he had a lot of things where he said a couple of years ago, I wanted this stuff done, and it would have cost an arm and a leg. And knowing him, that must have really been something, because he is constantly spending the money to grow his business. I was able to do that in literally 5 seconds, just adding QR codes to all of our flyers, business cards, everything. So it's really been, that's the one place where I've felt like I have been able to add value to the team, because coming in first thing, you're spinning in circles. You have no idea.
Right. So let's talk about it. Obviously, you had these grand ideas about what it was going to be like. What has the reality been for you compared to what you assumed it would be?
Well, growing up with real estate in the family, I wish that I had had more money starting out,
Right.
because it does take a while to get that first paycheck and start breaking even. But other than that, I knew quite a lot about it, about the industry. I just didn't know in depth how to do things like writing contracts or things like that.
Okay.
Because those keep evolving anyway. So
Yeah, for sure.
quite honestly, I've found my grandfather's ones from 2012, and it looks barely relatable to the ones today. So
This is true. They change quite often, annually, basically. So yeah, okay, makes sense. So what has been your greatest challenge then thus far?
conversations, quite honestly.
Okay.
I am not that great a conversationalist over the phone.
Okay.
I would prefer to meet people in person.
So I guess what are you doing to overcome it, especially in these times? It's hard to get in front of people right now. How you handling the challenge?
I am trusting the process that my
Okay.
mentor is laying out. That is exactly the reason why I joined a team to start out. I don't have the lead gen skills. I don't have a whole lot of resources for finding people that aren't in my immediate vicinity. So yeah, I went ahead and found out where I'm lacking and which team would be able to complement those skills until I can be up to snuff.
I like it. Trust the process. That's great advice, especially for newer people. Just trust it, and it'll get there. You'll make it. It's great. That's great. It sounds like your grandparents had a lot of influence on you growing up. Would you say that were your greatest role model, or who was your role model? Like, who did you like? Yeah, I really want to be like this person. Who was that?
Quite honestly, I don't think I had. I don't think I had role models. I think I had warnings.
Okay, tell me about that. I like that.
A lot. I was a very curious child growing up in. We were lower middle class, to put it nicely. So I really took a lot from the people around me of what not to do and where to improve. And so that, quite honestly, I never really compared myself of, oh, that's where I want to be. I just knew where I didn't want to be.
I like that, man. I look back on my life and I say that was a lot of what I was. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
And that's really what had me bouncing around a lot in my career and everything. I'm willing to try anything once, twice if I like it, 3 times to make sure. But once you've spent enough time in something, you really know whether it's for you or not.
Right.
And I've always known that I really want to help people, but I didn't know what niche I wanted to help them with.
So you figure you found that. Figure you've gotten that. Okay.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. Thank you. Just trying to, stick a little bit about just your childhood, just a little bit. And I like to ask people, how they contributed with the family, especially growing up, like you said, a little bit maybe on the poorer side of things. How did you help put food on the table? How did you make a buck? Is there any unique ways you did that?
Quite honestly, no. There were ways in which I could have, looking back. I cost the family a lot more money than I would have liked at that time. But when I started actually figuring things out for myself, I was actually able to graduate, put myself through college and pay for some of my mother's hospital bills during that time, when like every other kid is going through college.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are part of the Greek system and have a lot of funding from their parents. A lot of them are just getting by on ramen noodles. And I am somewhere in between, still sending money back home. So.
Okay, thank you. What is the thing you think you're most proud of right now in your life?
I honestly don't have a ready-made answer for
That's okay.
that. I don't think of myself as having pride towards anything that I've done, because it's all that would be taking things for granted in my
Okay.
mind. It's not like I've worked hard solely on something. It's my parents having been able to do things to set up these opportunities for me to take advantage of. And same with friends, same with other family members, same with my wife. Yeah, just everything that I have, I don't really evaluate it as anything to be proud about. I just want to do what I can.
I appreciate that perspective. I think it's a great perspective to have. It's humility, just doing my thing, right? So I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Is there anything you regret? Anything you wish you could maybe redo, have a re-over?
I'm gonna go with no on this for essentially the same reason. Are you familiar? I was actually just showing my mother-in-law this song. Are you familiar with Darius Rucker of the Hootie and the Blowfish? He struck it out on country music.
I know Hootie, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish, Darius Rucker, struck it out on country before getting Hootie and the Blowfish back together.
Okay.
He really blew up and became one of the best, country artist of the year.
I did not know
Really,
that.
really did a lot of things. But his first big song, and the first one that I heard, was called This. And in that whole music video and song and everything, it just lays out everything in your life, all the twists and turns and everything that went wrong to get you to the point that you are now. And so as many times as I have those intrusive thoughts or just, quick flashbacks of, oh, I really shouldn't have done that in 5th grade. All that is what made me who I am today. And yeah, I can't really think of anything that I would want to take back or change to alter anything about my life, because I'm very happy where I am.
Great. It's the butterfly effect. Who knows what's going to happen, right?
Exactly.
That's great. It's great.
Had many opportunities. I was actually just thinking about this with my wife as well. We had so many opportunities to run into each other earlier on in our lives, and we never did. We never crossed paths. And had we at any point, we may have changed everything, not be married today, and not have the lives we have. So
it's interesting how it works out. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Do you get to read much? You consider yourself a reader?
I used to be. Right now, I'm actually struggling, and probably going to be getting an Audible subscription, because now Realty is a lot less sitting around reading. It's a lot more being in your car. So.
Okay. Plus, Audible to me is reading. So when I ask about that, yeah, that's a book. It's a book. So is there a favorite book that you like to revisit or you like to tell people about? Is there a particular book that touched you?
Classic answer is probably Night by Elie Wiesel. It's
I've
about
heard
the
that.
Jewish Holocaust.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I want to take that back for a moment. Are you talking about business
Oh no,
book?
it's
or?
just completely what? Yeah, let's talk about that book. What is it? What is it about that one that?
It basically recounts his time being transferred between 2 different death camps during the Holocaust, and
Wow.
it is wonderfully written, and you cannot get away from the fact of how much of that will change, like reading his words will change your viewpoint on how you see the world.
So tell me a little bit about what did it do for you? How did it open your mind?
You know, my parents did a very good job of making sure that I knew how the world worked around me in a positive sense, but framing very well the negatives and how people are impacted. So I feel like that book was really just in reference to that, and really just helped shape my worldview of, again, how I now treat realty. Of, I'm not counting it by dollars and cents. I'm counting it by how many people I can help.
I like that.
As long as you can leave the world a little bit better.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on, man. I had a great time chatting with you. Learned some cool insights. So thank you. Where can the audience find you? Phone number and email. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so my email is chase@themidranogroup.com. Phone number, yeah, 602-756-7265. And I also do have another one for you. It is 602-903-2435.
Awesome. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.